So before I start anything, I would like everybody to check your time and maybe half minutes. Think that we are doing this for the benefit of all sentient beings to achieve enlightenment. This is extremely important. I know a lot of you, I could see, came a little bit of rush, and so a lot of things happen in a day, and maybe taking myself as an example, maybe mind is not so settled down. And so next 1.5 hours is for the benefit of all sentient beings to achieve enlightenment. So please engender bodhicitta, generate bodhicitta. Half minutes, that's easy, right? Just half minutes. Don't fall to sleep though. All right. So in order to arise the authentic bodhicitta, it is essential to pray to the lineage masters, our gurus, root gurus, kind gurus, and so we will be reciting the Tapokaju lineage prayer. And Tapokaju lineage prayer, I know all of you are familiar, and this is something so important prayer, and which always chanted by my kind and very special teacher, both Chabje late Chabje Tangrumbuche and Kembukanta Rinpoche. And because especially tonight is understanding about lineage, and it's essential for us to chant, not only chanting, but visualizing the entire lineage masters and chant, and at the end dissolve and meditate. Sometimes the blessing is very nurturing. By simply chanting this very special lineage prayer, and meditating upon it. So let's chant the lineage prayer. Oh, no, Jen, Jan, Jen, de lo, na, ro, da. Mama, me, la, ku, je, ga, bo, ba. Tu, so, jen, ja, kan, jen, ga, ma, ba. Che, je, kan, je. Yabande nada reda anzaza bande so sala jaja jela ngane Yame Runga Dabo Gajala Sawande Zoya Gajala Jabande no Nanda Yelo Gaje Gamba Sombaje Seno Angalo Jaye Banda Sendere da Jebe Ganchen Yegara Jemba Meba Jeba Moga Ganje Go Somba Nengo Endengo Jebe Lama Jenda So Jebe Ganje Jeme Mago Jewa Yeme Ganje Ujra Somba Kajara Ndombe Oizomade Marjundera Jove Ganje Ganja Loinda Andrawa Ando Chegara Sompa Jaya Maya Jaya Angaro Paraja Onde Yeme Baba Yewa Yonda Dame Junje So, refuge in bodhicitta. Zanje Jodan Doje Jona La Chanchu Bade Dane Jose Dagi Chunin Jiba Sanam Rola Benzara Zanje Robara. Four immeasurables. Simjian Damje Deva Don Deve Jadon Dembara Jiraja Dongala Don Donga Jadon Ravara Ngala mebe dewa domba da menda wa jeje nyeren chadon don dra tanyam jimbo la nevoro juro. Kizu jengo nomba drawa naga doye me jeje jijan java drame langa jambe yonza bana. Dade dewa jeje jeje la jango lo dente ya jemba gone mambe jeto ya jego de la. Kizu gala jena jango je debe vetan de je la nama. Yaven demba gane zanjemba kajerumbo chela jaje. Yende zanje gandon nyana ya kade zanje gane labre. Tangan zawe lama rumbo je dozon drove lana jela. Sanje sanjo jara chanje la sanje. Samarambo Angela Sawande Danzai Angela Gamijala Angela Jaminan Avarajan Razanje me dobarajan jelai jabarazai jelaje nozije gandobajan nozije dobarajan je One Nogadon, Yambuzin Jedam Jelana Mipayan, Tabazo, Sanjay Kongorumbo Chela, Injan Gebracha. Teoji the Dombujun, the Nizu and the Tonya Jiba, Jawanya, Bosamba Tonji, Judo Tojiba, and Boja Salta, December issue, Tela Consemba Chuna. All right, greetings to everyone. Tashi Dele, Tajaha, Hola. And I once again to remind everyone to generate bodhicitta and thinking that we are doing this for the benefit of all sentient beings to achieve enlightenment. This is extremely important. Myself being as an very ordinary individual, my own practice, I must have to be silent before I practice or teaching, because I often discovered that maybe your practice is halfway and forgot to generate bodhicitta. And so without generating bodhicitta, whether it's teaching or practice, is not effective. There is merit, but not effective. And also, as you noticed, that I chant the Lama Rinpoche prayer, which used during our Guru, beloved Guru Khenpo Rinpoche's 49th puja at Kamaleng. And it's been more than 4 years, but Rinpoche's presence is very refreshing. And certainly I miss his presence, like all of you. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have seen him. I could see in attendance, there are many senior students, and I often describe this because someone, ordinary Lama, that's my title. I have no clinging to that, but I have the title, which was given by Khenpo Rinpoche. I often hears his voice, his soothing voice, and his compassion. I do miss that I used to sit next to him and touch my head to Rinpoche's knee, receive blessing, and but looking back, I think all of you also appreciate, because when I looking back, even though myself being very ordinary practitioner, and I feel so fortunate to witness in my time that there was this great master Rinpoche appeared, and who had the compassion to hold us, all of us, into his heart. And he never judges, even though we fail to practice time to time. We are not perfect student. However, he being as a perfect teacher, as it mentioned in the Gambopa biography, that Gambopa had all kind of students, and some of them pretty bad, but Gambopa always made connection, good or bad, and almost like watching the movie Good, Bad, Ugly or something. And through that connection, and he really liberated all of them. So I felt, looking back on 22 years being with him, and felt so blessed. And then, of course, our late Chebyu Tangru Rinpoche, another example, someone so authentic. So we have so many gurus. And I know the topic is understanding about the lineage, and I still never felt so honored or blessed to even say a little bit about Rinpoche. And when Rinpoche passed away, I felt that I had not much sadness, and I felt that there was this very vast, silent space, almost beyond emotion. And I even mentioned to some of the friends that, everybody said, you must be very sad. I said, I should be, but I felt so grateful, Khenpo Rinpoche. And I feel so grateful, Khenpo Rinpoche, and so I don't have much sadness. But then a year goes by, day goes by, month goes by, and there was something, of course, missing. And when KTD monastery staff now as by this beautiful silver stupa that is placed in KTD's library. And excuse me, I shouldn't have ate that pasta. Should have saved after dinner. It's coming up a little bit. Supposed to come up wisdom, but pasta coming up. Is that something? Oh, yeah. And so, and so when the stupa arrived at KTD and Lama Tashi, everybody consecrated, and then what left behind was to decorate, put the ornaments. That is like a very tradition in Tibet, that ornaments of like jewelries. And few years back, Khenpo Rinpoche gave me some corals, and he told me that this hole is very small and doesn't really work with malas, and maybe you can, if you want it, I can give it to you. And who doesn't want corals, especially from Khenpo Rinpoche? I mean, that's priceless. I said, yes, Rinpoche, I would like to have it. And so when I put those turquoise and the corals that Rinpoche gave me is perfect for a stupa. So after everything was done, and I placed this in KTD's library and a shrine, and then I touched my forehead to the stupa. That's the day, that's the time I cried maybe 5 minutes, like a little baby, I was feeling that I was touching my forehead to Rinpoche's knee. And after that, I felt the sorrow, or like deep down kind of hurting was kind of removed by Rinpoche's blessing. So we, KTD, and all students, everybody able to build 8 stupas for Khenpo Rinpoche. And don't think that what I'm saying here is not related with my topic, which is the understanding lineage, because when we talk about lineage, this is the remembering of a blessing. And so now I was giving this 5 topics, petals, and the first is describe how Buddhism spread from India to Tibet. That is the first topic. And as you can see that I have the picture of Buddha, and it always starts with historical Buddha Shakyamuni, and everybody venerate to Buddha, and we all pray to Buddha. So historical Buddha Shakyamuni was relatively or historically born in India 2000, close to 600 years ago, and was born in this kingdom, and he had everything as a prince, and everything what we every day wish to have: wealth, fame. But he was very smart. Prince Dada, as a Prince Dada, he was very smart, and discovered that nothing was really standing still. Everything was changing, including human physical conditions. He saw this, the birth, death, etc. And he wants to discover something that is never change, happiness that's never change. And of course, that is our goal. All of us every day, whatever we are doing, pursue that happiness. And if I ask you, all of you, well, on the computer, say, what is your goal? You would describe all kind of descriptions, maybe like, I want to have, such career. I would like my family well-being, prosperity. But at the end, it comes down to happiness. We all want to be happy and free from suffering. And then if I ask you how long you want to be happy, and you may get mad why he even asks such dumb questions, And it is natural that we want to be happy forever, everlasting happiness. And just like Buddha, the Prince Dada was seeking for everlasting happiness. And then when Buddha, at the time, Prince Dada, renounced from all this wealth and fame and worldly positions, belongings, and then he discovered that, he did meet some different masters, such, but all of them pursuing something extreme, whether it's something blessed, something they can achieve, they can fly, or some kind of common siddhis. And he discovered that none of these really have the strength or potential to bring happiness forever. And then he meditated under this next to the river Nerajana, and 6 years, and then slowly he discovered his inner potential that we all have. And of course, then he become enlightened, and as the recent his own Karmapa's teaching, he he actually stated that I found this profound luminosity, which is beyond composition, substitute Vesan Dumache, beyond elaborations. And I found this ambrosia-like, but it seemed like hard for everybody to understand it. Therefore, I will go to forest and meditate, be silent. So that was actually a teaching that is basically describing about what we just mentioned, that Buddha discovered or enlightened, but what did he realize? He realized the Buddha nature that all of us have. And then, of course, Buddha turned the wheel of Dharma, and the Buddha's teaching gave to the 5 disciples, and then slowly came to Tibet in the 8th century. Actually, Buddha's teaching spread in Tibet in the 3rd century, 6th century, like for example, like Sansin Gambo's time, etc. But widely spread in 8th century. That's why I have this Guru Rinpoche's picture here. This is image or statue of Guru Rinpoche at the first ever built monastery in Tibet, that is the Samye Monastery in near Lhasa. So Guru Rinpoche brought the Buddha's teaching into Tibet by request of the Tibetan king Tizang Detsen, and also Tizang Detsen invited Shantarachita, pasta again. And so that's how the Buddha's teaching came to Tibet. But our main goal tonight, because we only have 90 minutes, I want to also must describe about the golden lineage, the Kamakaju lineage. That's the lineage that we, due to our karmic condition, most of us follow that lineage. And here, the second topic says, discuss the concept of lineage and its significance. Lineage in Tibetan, Jupa. And as you can see in this photo or PowerPoints, PPT, there's a mala, and then there's Angelica lineage. And in this the mala, we call golden rosary, like Chinwa in Tibetan mala. It's because the head of the mala is like Buddha himself. So Buddha gave teaching to his disciples. And of course, at the time of his teaching, there wasn't any written text or such. Simply he taught, and his followers were able to memorize and able to liberate. So that transmission of verbal teaching, especially affecting mind, which means transmitting through mind to mind, which is a realization. So, and the next student, etc., all the way. And just like mala, if you look at the mala from after the bead, there's one rosary, then all the way, and then goes back to the the head of the mala, because at the end you achieve enlightenment, just like Buddha did. And so in our Kaju lineage, and we call Kaju, Ka means literally Buddha's teaching or scriptures, Buddha's teaching, and Ju means transmission. So commonly, every lineage of Tibetan Buddhism or every other lineages come from Buddha, and there's nothing that is not come from Buddha. That's why we call Buddhism Tibetan Buddhism, and especially Kagyu lineage. We often start with Vajradhara. It's because that's the short lineage. Of course, the long lineage always come from Buddha Shakyamuni. And when we talk about Vajradhara and Dojie Chang, we often chant or lineage prayer start with Vajradhara. So Vajradhara is Sambhogakaya form of Buddha Shakyamuni, and the Namanikaya form of Vajradhara is Buddha Shakyamuni himself. And then actual Vajradhara, the Dharmakaya, is beyond teaching, beyond visualization. That is the primordial wisdom. So, Kagyu lineage, there was actually teaching by the great master Kagyu Rinpoche about the lineage prayer teaching. The lineage prayer that we just have chanted. And he has mentioned that a lot of, some of you might think that why we start from Vajradhara, that doesn't mean Vajradhara is, the Shakyamuni Buddha is not included. So Vajradhara, as I mentioned, Sambhogakaya form that we visualize in Hundu practice is the Sambhogakaya form. And then Namanikaya form is Buddha Shakyamuni. And then Dharmakaya doesn't have a form. And also, as mentioned by the great master Gambopa, that the teaching of the tantric practices, the source of it is the glorious Vajradhara. So Vajradhara is embodiment of three kayas. By the great master Kamachami mentioned that all the phenomena, the essence of all the phenomena are always included in Vajradhara. Vajradhara manifests as Yidam deities such as Vajrayogini, Chakasambhara, etc. And he's the source of manifestation of all of deities, Buddhas, especially Buddha Shakyamuni. And then we don't normally hear about who is Vajradhara. And there's Kagyu and Nima master, very famous master, Tsilin Natsu Rondo. He wrote so many teachings and alphabetical order. There's one part of his teaching, Wam syllable, A and Wam. In a Wam session, Tsilin Natsu Rondo talk about how Vajradhara generates bodhicitta. And he writes as many kalpa or eons ago, there was a pure land known as Ronjin Nambra Köpa, means naturally arise. And there was a Buddha, his name was the great beautiful flower. And Vajradhara was a bodhisattva who offered a golden Vajra to this Buddha and generated bodhicitta. And then after 2 births, he was born as a son of a householder known as Lineage. And the son's name was the Garland Jewel, Murbu Chenwa. So everything is recorded, so you can listen again in the future. It's cool, huh? Cool. And then he received a lot of teachings from the Buddha known as Horlo Lechi, means will of excellence, the will of excellence. And through that virtuous actions and study and practice, he took rebirth as another other Brahmin family, and known as an excellent boy or son of a householder known as the light of thunder light. And then during that time, he listened to teaching from the Sugata Garbha or Buddha, Gewe Lodu, and the virtuous intelligence Buddha, and meditated in samadhi. And after 75 years, then Vajra Dara, at that time he wasn't a Vajradhara, he achieved Buddha, and he actually meditated in Dhammakaya, the primordial wisdom, for the great eon. There's eon has different way of counting. The great eon has more than just eon. And then he arises for the benefit of all beings as Sambhogakaya, as the Vajradhara. Because why we call Vajradhara? Because he offered this Vajra, which also have a mark of a bill. So that's why he has bill and Vajra in his hand as a manifestation of Sambhogakaya. So that's how Vajradhara generated bodhicitta, practiced meditation, and achieved enlightenment. Excuse me. So then it says the third topic is briefly recount the history of the major master of the Kagyu lineage, Telopa, Naropa, Marba, Milarepa, Gombopa, and to some Chemba. And then, of course, comes great master Telopa or Telopa. And both Telopa and Naropa was the Indian master. They both were born in India. And so we often hear that Telopa also received teaching directly from Vajradhara. As you could see that Vajradhara, Telopa could receive teaching from Vajradhara. And of course, commonly, the great master Telopa, who was born in India as a Brahma family, and he both Tilopa and Naropa at the beginning become a monastic, and then slowly they become a yogi, realized yogi. And so Tilopa received the transmissions known as the four special Kaba Yi in Tibetan, Kaba Yi, the four special transmission that Tilopa received from his four main teachers. And then, of course, these four transmissions were passed from Tilopa to Naropa and then to Lodamaba, etc. And who are those four main teachers of Tilopa? The first transmission, the transmission, Kabab, it's a transmission is versus Kabab is maybe because of my lacking of English, feels like Kabab is more profound than transmission. Kabab is a very special transmission. It's like I have to add something like special transmission. Because transmission is just somebody give you a reading transmission. It's still transmission, but this is very Kabab. For example, like Kaju lineage is a transmission of practice lineage. This is a special, Dujik practice lineage, which means that we cannot excuse about, not able to do daily practice. Then I don't know what we are doing as a Kajupa. So the first Kabab or transmission was the transmission that Tilopa received from Vajradhara, the great king in the Bodhi. I will say slowly because translators have to translate. The Naga, the Yogini, Le Nanjurama. Then Master, the Earth Lord, Buskala. Then Great Mahasiddha Saraha. Then to Nagarjuna, and then to Chintelopa. What he received from them was Vajra, and then there's one Tantra. Of course, Lord Maba brought the 13 Tantras. This is one of them. Of course, Vajra and the Dojie Denji, the four Vajra seeds. That's the name of the Tantra. And also he received illusory body and ejection transmission, which two of them within, as known as the 6 Dhammas from Naropa. So that is the first transmission, Kabab Tambo. And then the second, he received dream yoga among 6 Dhammas from Naropa, and also he received great illusory practice from, once again, Vajradhara, the wisdom Dakini, the great Mahasiddha Kukuripa, the great Mahasiddha Napochopa, and True Telopa. And then third transmission was the Chaka Sambara, and among the 6 Dhammas from Naropa, clear light. Transmitted from Vajradhara, Vajrapani, Mahasiddha Rambipa, the Mahasiddha Binna Bedza, Mahasiddha Lawapa to Telopa. And then the fourth transmission that Telopa received was Here Vajra, Tantra, among the 6 Dhammas of Naropa is the Tumo, the inner heat, which he received from, once again, Vajradhara, then Vajrapani, Pema Vajra, the Dakini Kawazamo to Telopa. So historically, there are so many Mahasiddhas and outstanding Mahasiddhas, but Telopa was exceptional who received these 4 transmissions. And this is very, Telopa was very famous or very, very well-known Mahasiddha that received these 4 different transmissions, which then, of course, to the next will be the great master Naropa. I better look at my time because I sometimes, okay, we have a lot of time. So the great master Naropa was once again born in India, and he was born as the king's family, his family. And he was studied, he was a monk, and then slowly studied, and he became very scholarly at Nalanda Institute. There was a very famous 2 institutes in India, Bitamalashila and Nalanda. So he was Nalanda, the gatekeeper, as they say, gatekeeper. And so while he was very scholarly and debating and subduing a lot of those scholarly practitioners or like different philosophical scholars, and he also felt that he felt that he was very, very scholarly, and he has a lot of he was very proud of himself. And then there was Dakini, a very kind of filled her face with wrinkles and kind of elderly lady, and she asked Naropa, are you very scholarly? And Naropa said, yes, I know everything. And then once again, the Dakini said, actually, first when she asked this question to Naropa, do you understand the words? And also, and then he said, I understand words absolutely, in all the sutra, in all the tantras. And then she asked again, do you understand the meaning? And then he thought that if I say I understand the meaning, she would be very happy. He said, yes, I understand the meaning as well. And then the moment he mentioned, altered that sound of, oh, I understand it, the meaning, and the Dakini, the lady was gone nuts, like she was just was not happy at all. And then she mentioned to her, you don't know the meaning, and the only person know the meaning you will find out in the future. You have to depart from this place, as which Naropa did. And she was talking about Telopa, and then the moment he heard the Telopa's name, and he was just so moved due to karmic condition, and so he searched for Telopa, and he discovered Telopa. And this is actually, as it mentioned in teachings, that the biography of masters is an example to follow, which means that those of us, practitioners, I think I always like to say, it is what it is. I think being here for 24 years, and I think one of the obstacles we encounter is arrogance, pride. when we study something, when we learn something, and we feel that we understand it, and because the essence of learning, essence of understanding, which actually reduce our arrogance and our negative feelings and emotions. And I recall from my teacher, Kimbur Rinpoche, someone asked, what's the definition of realization? And Kimbur Rinpoche said, well, there are many types of realization, but for ordinary individuals like Dharma students, it could also account as a realization if we become a Buddhist for a long time. And then the more years of study and practice, if we begin to see the development of compassion, development of outstanding devotion to the master and lineage, and those of us have this kind of understanding of devotion and renunciation and compassion, and then they will never once again be like oh, I can't do my practice every day because I'm so busy. Because when the Dhamma blessing enters into you, you'll be so happy to sit down and practice. Even if you don't have time to sit on cushion, you still be very happy to practice wherever you are, while you changing diaper for your children, or while you really, wherever you go, because wherever your mind is, there's the devotion. Wherever your devotion is, there's the blessing. Wherever there's blessing, there's the meditation. So it's like shadow. So that's why Khenpo Rinpoche mentioned that one of the realization is about having pure renunciation and a pure compassion. So this is, we are not judged by book, which means how we look, or how we shave our hairs, or how we wear our dress. Dhamma has nothing to do with outlook. Dhamma has to do with your mind, and especially suffering. When we experience more suffering, that's where Dhamma shines, the blessing shines. And you feel a sense of place to rest. The more you're suffering, you may able to have more compassion. And if we see that the more we practice, more we study, and our arrogance is growing, our laziness is growing, and we have many depths, that truly shows that the Dhamma has not entered into our mind. So Naropa's life story basically saying that even though he was Pandita, the gatekeeper of the Nalinda, which gatekeeper basically means there are a lot of non-Buddhists, very scholarly debates, and he was able to debate them, out of reasoning and teaching. Even like that state of scholarly was not sufficient because he didn't have the experience. So then later on, excuse me, he found Telopa, and then he followed Telopa, and then whatever Telopa said, Naropa endured everything. That's another example. And we also, once again put it into our mind that if our teacher who gave teaching so many years and says something that we don't like, we are ready to give up or ready to criticize. And such Naropa, went through tremendous, great hardships and everything. He never once had any doubts. So whatever Telopa said, he did. Through that difficulties and austerity, he received all the teaching that Telopa received, just transformation into from vase to vase, completely. And then, of course, the next is the great master Maba Lotsawa. And Maba, from here on, all these masters born in Tibet. Maba Lotsawa was also born in Tibet. And he been to India 3 times and went to Nepal many times and received teaching directly from Naropa. And even he was in late old age, like 60s, he traveled to India. And when we talk about travel to India, those days there was nothing else. Simply you carry a bag and walk all the way to India. And Lord Maba did behalf of all sentient beings. He received the entire teaching from Naropa, all the transmission, and then Naropa said, the guru who prophesied, my son means my heart son, Naropa, Tilopa prophesied there will be a special student, that is Lord Marba. You, Maba Chuchilodu, and welcome here to uphold the regent of the snowland of Tibet, which means that when Mabalota came to see Naropa, who predicts that you receive these teachings and you become the regent of entire Tibet. Because when Mabalota brought all these teachings translated into Tibetan, and all those 13 tantric practices of Lord Marba is pretty much practiced by all different lineages. They have Vajra, Chaka, Sambara. There are different commentaries by different Tibetan masters, but everything is based on Lord Maba's work. And then, of course, like Lord Marba, when he went to see Naropa, and so occasionally, casually, Lord Maba mentioned that I have a student known as Tupaga, and then the master Naropa joined his hands together, said, Chancho, member Maramna, online Yama, Chandra Tupaga, he just joined about 3 times. No, I don't have to explain, all of you understand that, right? So he said, in the darkness of the Tibet, there is a master, there is a master known as Tupaga. Tupaga means delight to hear his name. That is his early child name. And who likes that of sun shining on snow. And I bow to that master. And then all the trees and all the grasses, flowers bowing towards Tibet. But that is the great master Milarepa. And Milarepa is such yogi, is so respected by all the lineages, including those who doesn't know nothing about Dharma. They could see that authentic practitioner like Milarepa is very respected. And then Milarepa has actually Lord Maba has 4 main disciples. And the first is Ngu Chukudoje, Ngu Ten Chudro. And I want to make sure I'm saying something right, Muchuk Doje, and then second is Do Sutan Wangye, Doji Sutan Wangye, and then Kontong Malarepa, from Kontong Malarepa, and Muchuk Doje, Sutan Wangye. And Zhang, Mit, and Sembo. So these four special disciples Lord Marba and the Ngochuk Doje, he gave the transmission of all tantric teachings, mainly teaching and explanation. And Tsurten Wang Doje, he gave the transmission of Powa. And then Metan Tsembo, he gave the transmission of clear light. The Malarepa, the Tumo practice. And then, of course, Malarepa has many, disciples, but his main disciple is Lord Gambopa, who brought the transmission of Mahamudra and Kadampa lineage. And then Rechompa special transmission. So Rechompa is, one man disciple of Lord Gambopa. And then from Gambopa, he has many disciples, and then his nephew Gamtsu, then Lord Hamotupa, the first Kamapa to Samchemba, and then Baram Master Tamawanchu. And so what we are practicing known as Kama Kaju lineage. And which comes from the Kamapa to Samchemba. And first, who is Karmapa? This is extremely important because we have this merit to witness or see this one's Karmapa, receive teachings, but the Karmapa goes back to all the way to Buddha himself. And there's a Samadhi Sutra which prophesies about Lord Gambopa. There will be a master Davijan youthful moon in the future. Actually, Buddha had many, many disciples, and he was actually asked his disciples, who going to spread the Samadhi Sutra? Samadhi King Sutra, Dotinzin Jalbo. And Gambopa, as a youthful moon, Davijan arose from his seat. I said, I will spread the teaching. And then he's all of 500 Gambopa's Dharma friends arose. Among them, the emanation of our Lord Shorava Karmapa arise. And it is mentioned that just like the sky is limitless and the noble Genesis compassion limitless, likewise, the emanation of Buddha Karmapa is also limitless. And then there's Master Shang discovered a prophecy from that was hidden by Guru Pema Sambhava, mentioned that the millions of worlds, Karmapa emanation will be also millions of them. Especially the seventh Karmapa, Shuddha Janto, has a very special realized yogi known as Shacha Rinchen. And he wrote a prophecy that's later discovered from a monastery. And in that prophecy, he's talking about the Karmapa's activities, and talk about there will be 7 black hat Karmapas are the manifestation of the 7 Buddhas. And then there will be more, 8 of them, manifestation of the 8 Bodhisattvas. Then slowly will continue 12, and they are the emanation of 12 Buddhas. Then 16 emanations will, the emanation of the 16 Shavaka Buddhas. Then there will be 100, which doesn't mean like one time, but continuously 100 of them, the emanation of 500, I meant 500, you should drink something. Emanation of 500 arhats. And then there will be 1002 emanations of Karmapa, which is the emanation of the 1002 Buddhas. We are talking about the very fortunate eon, there will be such. And then at the very end, a black hat Karmapa will arise. Someone has the crown of black hat, and very end. At that time, in this world, the Matthiya Buddha already achieved enlightenment, start to teach, which means that His Holiness, when we talk about I'm Karmaka Lineage, that's His Holiness Karmapa. And start with Karmapa to Samchemba, and all the way to the current 17th Yang Karmapa. And there's a story that Khenpo Rinpoche told us when Karmapa was recognized and he was scheduled to enthron at Tsubu Monastery. And the previous Karmapa, 16 Karmapa, Ramzon Rinpoche, used to teasing Khenpo Rinpoche, put his hand on Rinpoche, would say this is a colloquial Kamba language. Agama. Agama means someone, mother, so dear to their son or their daughter, their children, her children. Agama, they put, something, like this. And when Khenpo Rinpoche went to Tsubu Monastery, and after he finished 3 prostrations, he sit next to the 17th Karmapa, and then His Holiness put his, just like 16 Karmapa did, his hand put on Khenpo Rinpoche like this, and says, Agama, you came. And Rinpoche said he just couldn't stop, his stare. The voice, the presence, the way he looked at him, and just identical. And the word that he used, Agama, was so, with such compassion. And then, of course, first come up to some chamber, and then we have the Kagyu lineage known as the Java Yepse, and then Suddha Rinpoche, Shama Rinpoche. The Shama Rinpoche, the first Shama Rinpoche was the third Karmapa's disciple, Tudin Tapa Singye, was the first Shama Rinpoche. And from then on, Shama Rinpoche's incarnation continued. Of course, Shama Rinpoche as the emanation of Amitabha. And then the second Karmapa's hot disciple is His Eminence Tai Sudur Rinpoche. And the first incarnation of Sudur Rinpoche was Siddhichuchi Jansing, who was the fifth Karmapa's disciple. And Sudur Rinpoche will be, he's the emanation of Matthiya Buddha, will achieve, and the next, the fifth Buddha, and he turned the wheel of Dharma. And then Jamga Kongtrul Rinpoche is the disciple of during the 10th Karmapa, and also disciple of 10th sorry, it's not 10th or 14th Karmapa. And then 10th Sudur Rinpoche, Pema Nyingzi's disciple, Jamga Kongtrul Rinpoche. So these are very special disciples, emanation of, it's called, as His Holiness Karmapa mentioned, that they are the one who flourished the activity of Karmapas, purposely, intentionally emanated. And then His Eminence Gyatso Rinpoche, the first Gyatso Panju Tandru was the disciple of the sixth Lord Karmapa Tuan Tendin, and then continued Gyatso Rinpoche's emanations. And then there are two more, which are not so well known, but they are also Jawa Yosef Victoria's sons, the Pao Rinpoche. The first Pao Rinpoche, Chuon Lendu, was the disciple of seventh Karmapa Chuda Janso. And then Teho Chuchi Janso, Teho Rinpoche, was once again the disciple of the seventh Karmapa. So all of these masters purposely emanated from emanation of activities of Karmapa, him or herself. And please don't laugh. I have my picture here, but there's some story behind. I'm, of course, I can't be in this picture category, but somewhat I was connected with Khenpo Rinpoche. The first, I have His Holiness picture, and then next to it you can see two books. And it was one of the His Holiness visit to KTD, and later I went to Seattle, and His Holiness loves books. And I told proudly to Rinpoche, His Holiness, that I have many books. And he visited my messy room. My room was very messy. I mentioned His Holiness, my room is messy. He said, you are from Tibet, who nobody was surprised. And he said, I'm from Tibet. I don't know. We know it. So anyway, he came with his disciple. It's Lama Sutram in New Jersey. And so he came to my room, and he gave, look, I want this, and I got, like a handful of books, and then the Lama Sutram also have a handful of books. And so we brought to His Holiness' room. And so after a few days, he was about to depart to Seattle. And you can imagine that, I love books. I really love books. So His Holiness gave me all the books except these two books. And he said, I will keep these two books. One is the biography of Tsongkhapa. Another is the poetry book. And generally, if like His Holiness Buddha Karmapa, he would like to have these books, he would be so honored. But me being me, I was so attached to my books. I was like, oh no, I lost two books. Seriously, there was like something took over. But I couldn't say that to His Holiness. I really try to think about, oh, this is a lifelong opportunity for you to offer this book, but nothing was working at the time. And so I said, yes, yes, of course. But, it was like, I lost 2 more books. And then slowly day goes by. I feel like, oh, I pray that, may I able to take others' greedy, attachment with my greedy. So after a month, like when I mentioned that to His Holiness, he smiled at me. And so after a month, before we returned to India, and he gave these 2 books to Kembo Tenchong, the one who taught teaching at the beginning. He said, you want to make sure, please make sure these 2 books return to Lama Karma. And, he read my mind. And I had fortune to be with His Holiness, and there are so many stories, and as we say, undefiled clairvoyance. His clairvoyance is so special, and very special occasions. Like he read my greedy, he returned my books. These 2 books are so special for me. And so we don't have too much time, and I don't want to take too much time from you, but this is the point. When our guru tells us to do something, we do our best to do it. For example, recently His Holiness Kamapa recommended everybody chant Trivai Buddha prayer, chant the Vajrasattva mantras. And the moment I read the letter, and my mala was, I just pick up my mala, never think about anything else. Like, oh, why is that? How many, because His Holiness recommended 100,000 Vajrasattva mantras, 1,000 35 Buddha. Of course, if we could do exactly number, that's good, but you do right away. I did that, and I'm doing that continuously. And I'm very kind of busy. I'm a lay lama, very busy, but I don't count sometimes too much. But it's just so wonderful that His Holiness Kamapa, who always sees not just Kamakaji lineage, but everyone, all sentient beings, especially our lineage, and he's trying to do everything in his best to purify all the impure samayas. Those are disciples like ourselves. We are so fortunate to have this opportunity. So please do recite if you have your, Kamakaji lineage, or if you have devotion to His Holiness, just recite. Wherever you go, Vajrasattva mantra, no questions, no nothing, just to recite. It's because once lifelong opportunity to purify our own negative karma. And then I have 2 more pictures, and there's the last picture is Kimburum, which is brother. The reason why I put his brother here is because he's currently in lifelong retreat. He's 93 years old, and we all want to practice like deity or such, but what is practicing? He's just reciting Om Mani Padme Hum. And his simple message is, please have, if you have a good heart, bodhicitta, everything is taken care of. So please, have a good heart and bodhicitta. And then I have my picture. I was, the reason why I put here is because once again, I've been Rinpoche's student for 22 years. It's an attendant, and I wasn't always good, but Rinpoche never let me go. He always let me serve him, and so here I am. I was, one of the picture that I was, Rinpoche was on a wheelchair, and I was a patient, and I feel like, okay, this is an example that Rinpoche, as a master, never give up on any students, no matter how bad you could be. I'm the example there. And so then lastly, there's the Dhamma paths. The teaching topic is Dhamma paths. And I don't say a whole lot about lineage in Dharma path. That's why I just put together something to share you, especially about that a story. And this is the Dharma path, both English and Spanish. Los caminos, something like that. Por favor, los caminos del Dharma, del Dharma. I've been to Venezuela 5 times and Colombia so many times, and my Spanish is yo hablo español, muy bien. All I learned was my favorite word was arepa, the bread, and everybody thought that's my favorite food. Everybody's giving me arepa, and some of the arepa was pretty strong. I had some teeth problem. Then I have to tell publicly, arepa is my favorite word. It's not my favorite food. So anyway, lastly, I don't think we have time for question and session. We don't need, because there will be question and session tomorrow. And I'm really, really very happy that I had this opportunity. And KTD Monastery, our President Lama Lamo, and the committee, and put this wonderful teaching together. And also thank you so much, all of you join these teachings. And meanwhile, please do remember, I don't really have many homeworks. I think our homework as a practice of Kagyu lineage, practitioner of Kagyu lineage, we should do practice every day. That's it. So also Khenpo Rinpoche's mantra, to his students. And I finally dedicate the merit of this session for the benefit of all sentient beings. Especially, we are so fortunate to connect the Buddha Karmapa, and may he have a long life, excellent health, Dharma activities. Dharma activities, whether you have a special Dharma activity, is up to our samaya, how we behave, how we practice. So may we able to able to recite those mantras and 35 Buddha prayers, to follow his own Karmapa. And then also I pray for all of you, those who are joined tonight. May you have a wonderful practice and follow the lineage, follow the blessing and the understanding about the essence of the lineage. And we all have the opportunity to realize our nature of mind. As Khenpo Rinpoche used to say that before we die, we should have some glimpse of recognition of our mind. We certainly will if we don't give up. So let's chant the prayer. First, long life prayer of His Holiness. Jagan ninja onza grama ba jagan trile chida gama jagan donza wanga gama ba ojen ronda tile shaute so no janju zaner bo je ma je ba na je Jiba nyamba me bada kone konde pewara jo sonam de ye damje zeba nye tone nyeba dana band jega nanje bala druva ye zeba zole doga nyo dro yo kama bhajana kama bhajana kama bhajana kama bhajana. Okay, everybody, ciao, bye bye. And next time, I promise not to eat too much. So, I will have, yeah, thank you so much, everybody. And have a good night. And see you sometime soon. Bye-bye.